told me there's one run in this match. It's a big six. Karachi have won.
It's a young franchise, but they've done it. What a start!
HBL PSL 8 has got off to a roaring start. Last over thrillers. Heated contest in the middle. Carnival atmosphere in the stands. Today it's the turn of Karachi Kings to have another shot at redemption.
Again, Malik goes high. It's just gone over.
The batting heroics of Shoaib Malik and Ahmad Wasim were not enough the other night. But can they bounce back on their home turf? Up against them are Islamabad United, a batting powerhouse.
That is beautifully struck, and that's gone a long way for six.
A fascinating duel is on the cards.
Welcome back to the City of Lights. We're once again here in Karachi for yet another encounter of the HBL PSL. Nice to see the home side once again in action, Karachi Kings, and they are playing Islamabad United for the first time in match number 4, live from National Bank Cricket Stadium. Welcome to the pitch side once again. It's great to be here, and I've been joined by Arooj Mumtaz and Danny Morrison for Karachi Kings versus Islamabad United. Arooj, saw that there were two good games at the top in the HBL PSL. Karachi came very close in that last game, couldn't get over the line, but they must take heart from the fact that at least they were close enough.
I think you can always take heart from that. The one thing that doesn't help their cause is they didn't have a fantastic season last year, and getting off to a good start is always important, just because they want to probably break that jinx of not having a good season. But they did have the experience of Imad and Shoaib Malik come through. They had a over 130-run partnership, which got them close. But you'd expect those two experienced players to hang around to finish the game for them. And I just felt they were a batter short. So maybe they fix that combination today, who they play, which players are available, we'll find out. But it's important for them at home at least to get on a winning streak.
Danny, what do you think? I mean, do you think that it was really a case of them not being able to finish the game? Where do you think they lost that game?
Well, the question marks have been raised about in terms of their balance of their side and how much batting depth they've got, or in this case, lack of. And so I think that stands out. I'll be fascinated to see, Zaini, if they do go with someone like James Vince. I think Vince is available, he's here, so there may be that little subtle tweak. I think some of the fielding, I think on both sides, on both counts, because really when you look at Zalmi, they let Karachi back in a lot. So I think you can always put it down a little bit, you know, early season, first couple of games, but man, I think you'll also give kudos to the ground staff. At least we saw almost 200 versus 200. But in terms of Karachi, yeah, I just think that at the top there, they're relying a lot on a couple of players.
You spoke about the balance, so let's have a look at what the Karachi Kings, well, in terms of options, what do they really have? And Imad Wasim-led side, and this is pretty much what you've got. They've got the likes of James Vince, who can provide some impetus at the top. Haider Ali, Qasim Akram. That seems like a good team on paper, Arooj. I mean, you just look at the options that they have. It's just about getting that combination right.
I mean, honestly, Tayyab Tahir, you almost fail to understand why he hasn't gotten a game, and I would have imagined they would have started with him. I just feel they're relying very heavily on a top three, which off late or even last season in terms of Haider Ali. It's been high time I can remember a knock from him which impacted the game, right? Sharjeel Khan as well, yes, he can impact the game, but Qasim Akram, Haider Ali, Sharjeel Khan, that three, especially now that you've got James Vince come in, like Danny mentioned, and you'd probably get him to see a game today. But Tayyab Tahir, I'd like to see him into that top three.
Well, Mir Hamza won't be seen in the HBL PSL again. I mean, he got injured, and it's a shame because that's not how you want to start your campaign.
No, and given how he performed too. Unfortunately, because it was the smashing of back past the bowler there, and he got a finger on it. He evicted the run out, good on him. But when I look at it, yeah, it was quite a thud into his hand and his bowling hand. So that's frustrating for the dear fellow, yeah.
Akif Javed comes in. It's not the first time we are seeing him. We've already seen him in the HPL PSL for a different franchise, Islamabad United. But yeah, I mean, I think they need that at the start. You know, they need bowlers who can win them games by taking wickets in the power play.
And I think that's something that they will have to work out in terms of combinations. There was a time where Imad can and used to bowl with the new ball. Amir, how effective is he with the new ball, whether they pick up wickets? Because I think Karachi just doesn't get off to the best of starts, whether that's with bat or with ball. And in T20 cricket, if you're playing catch-up, you're most probably going to lose the game, and you need to get ahead of the game. Where I'm sure Akif Javed will get a game in. Like you mentioned, he played for Islamabad United, again, bowls within stumps within him. Who's that out-and-out pace option? I think that's one thing that Karachi is missing. Then out-and-out, 145, closing into 150. Ehsanullah. He impacted that game with the pace. You mentioned Khurram Shahzad in the previous game. It was the Yorkers, but they were at pace. I think that out-and-out pace option, Danny, I think Karachi is probably lacking that one.
They do have some spin options as well. Tabraiz Shamsi is another guy who can bring a lot to the table. What do you think, Danny, he can bring to the table?
Oh, well, look, you get someone who's a left-arm wrist spinner. Of course, they're going to be a bit unique and a bit different. A lot of energy. He is... in a way, he is box office. When he gets it right and he stays fit, that's the key to it a little bit. He stays fit and he's up for the contest. I've seen him around the globe on this franchise T20 circuit. So always a bit different. Left arm wrist spin, you see it around the globe. Those that have got that, got a little bit of X factor and can make the difference.
What about Islamabad United, Aruj? I mean, you look at their HBL PSL campaigns over the years and they've won it twice, so they're an extremely successful side in the HBL PSL. And you look at that squad, what do you like about the squad?
They're explosive, and I like that because that's been their ideology or their mantra from the days that you can remember. And I think their draft picks also resonate in that ideology that they like. Their players play in that kind of manner, and they've got the firepower up top. Sterling, Monroe, Alex Hales will eventually join them. They've got that, and then they've got the core of the Pakistan players, which is one unique feature that you pick up on Islamabad United. Fahim Ashraf, Hassan Ali, Asif Ali, Shadab Khan, all of that. And then they've got their bowlers as well. So I really like the way they play, and they don't change it. They stick to their plans, and they've got a fantastic leader leading them. I think Shadab Khan is a born leader.
When you spoke about how explosive their top order is, how does it actually impact the side itself in terms of power play and run rates? Let's find out through the numbers game. Well, this, you talk about the numbers game, and this pretty much reiterates your point, what you just said, that top order, Danny, you look at that top order, that's provided them with the kind of starts that you always want in the HPL PSL. They have the best run rate in the power play, Islamabad United, and they've always had players to be able to execute their plans.
Versus those in red on that graphic at the bottom.
Yep.
You saw last night, if you lose 3 wickets in the power play, you're going to struggle. So that's another key that you could throw into this run rate in the power play. How many wickets do these sides, these franchises lose inside the first 6? I'd suggest here, when you look at Islamabad United, they don't lose quite as many. And yeah, and as Aru said, you've got the key element at the top of the order to really start with positivity. Everyone, I think that doesn't matter what side you play, you want people like Alex Hales back, don't you? You want that entertainment X factor. And I think when you look at Islamabad United, yeah, they bat deep, and they're a worrying top order side for any of the other franchises.
Yeah, they have plenty of options. Paul Sterling, Alex Hales. We've seen what Paul Sterling did in the World Cup for Ireland, and just generally how he's been like in the leagues around the world. And that was the numbers game for you. Yeah, it's that explosive top order of Islamabad United, and they are up against Karachi Kings, who had a great partnership between Shoaib Malik and Imad Wasim in that previous game, but really couldn't get over the line. Should be a fantastic contest, but we'll take a short breather. Back on the pitch side show, and a fascinating contest awaits us. Islamabad United are yet to get off the mark. This is their first game, and they've got a strong team. They've got a strong top order, and they're up against Karachi Kings, who will be looking to redeem themselves. Now it's time for expert advice. Let's head over to Nick Knight, who earlier spoke about the strengths and weaknesses of both the teams.
Right, I think what we've got here is a fascinating matchup then between these two sides. I'll dwell on that a little bit more in a moment, but I want to focus to start with on Karachi and Kings and the way they played that first game. Of course, a lot of positives for them, even though they lost by a couple of runs. The captain, Imad Wasim, Shoaib Malik. But I want to focus more here on how they finished the innings with the ball. Let's just take you to the last 4 overs. We can show you exactly how it played out. I've gone for the last 4 because the 16th was bowled by Imran Tahir. So these are the quicks then that finished the innings off for Karachi Kings. I think really interesting, because you can see there 45% of balls are in that short section. That's pretty brave. Not a huge amount on the Yorker length, and then hitting the pitch hard as well and going full. You don't often see that at the end of an innings, particularly out here. Bearing in mind that the square boundaries were 67 and 63 metres, that is pretty brave, and it was rewarded. So well done to Karachi Kings for that. They also varied their pace quite considerably during that period of the game. So that was excellent for them. A number of positives for them. I would say, I'm not going to call it a weakness, but when I was commentating on the game, I just felt they got the balance of their side slightly wrong. Let's just have a look at what they went in with. They went in with 8 bowling options. Now, I think that's a little too heavy. I don't think necessarily you need that. They saw it differently. There you go. That is a lot of bowling options when you have someone like Tayyab Tahir, who I think could have played in that 11, bearing in mind that James Vince probably will play. We don't know the side yet, but we think he might play, so that will have to alter the balance slightly. But I think they probably need maybe 1 or 2 extra batters along the way. That is where the nice contrast comes between the two sides, because historically you look at Islamabad United and you look at where their strengths have been, well, in the batting unit, and they bat a long way down and they have plenty of batting options. There are just a number for you. The strike rates there are very impressive. Now, Alex Hales today, he will join the squad a little later. The squads will change as we go through, but Fahim Ashraf right at the end there are a lot of very good numbers there, and they bat very deep. They go at you hard, they put you under pressure in the early overs. So that is something, as I say, it's a nice contrast when you look at the way that two sides might just approach this. Azam Mahmood has been very vocal. He's an outstanding coach, by the way, and he is coaching Islamabad United, and he's talked about fielding. I think fielding will play a major part in this competition. We always say that, but if you look at the way the first 3 games have been played out, there's been some pretty average fielding in truth. So I think if you're a side that's highlighting fielding and the way that Islamabad play with the bat and bat deep, this should be a really, really good contest. Can't wait.
Interesting thoughts by Nick Knight. I mean, Danny, he speaks about how he felt that Karachi Kings are a batter short. I mean, do you agree with those thoughts?
Yeah, we touched on it just moments ago. I think James Vince, if he's fit and fizzing and he's here, I think in a way it's a bit of a no-brainer. You need some quality at the top there, and Shajil, he missed out, then Matty Way got a start and then he didn't kick on, so you need someone of that sort of substance and that quality that could bat most of, when you think about most of a 20-over contest, couldn't he?
Yeah, we're talking about Islamabad United. They also have a fast bowling trio. They've got that roti gang together. Hassan Ali, Arooj Mumtaz earlier spoke to Hassan Ali.
The ever smiling, entertaining champion Hassan Ali मेरे साथ मौजूद हैं. हसन, मुझे सबसे पहले ये बताएं, इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड का जो मंत्रा है कि पहली बॉल से अग्रेसिव क्रिकेट खेलना, ये आपकी क्रिकेट में कितना अच्छा जेल होता है?
बिल्कुल, देखें, ये इनका एक शुरू से ही ये स्टाइल है, क्योंकि मैं पहले 5 साल जो ज़ल्मी में खेला, फिर 3 साल से इनकी टीम में हूँ, तो ये इनका जो एक स्टाइल है कि एग्रेसिव क्रिकेट हमने खेलनी है, तो आई थिंक ये बहुत अच्छा फिट इन होता है, और जिस तरह की मॉडर्न अभी क्रिकेट हो चुकी हुई है, और मेरे ख्याल से हर कोई को हर टीम जो है वो इसी को मेरे ख्याल से फॉलो कर रही है, और करना भी चाहिए, क्योंकि हम ये भी कहते हैं कि क्रिकेट जो है वो अब इंटरटेनमेंट भी हो चुकी हुई है, तो इसलिए जो है ना ये इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड इस तरीके से खेलती है।
इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड के कॉम्बिनेशन की हम बात करते हैं, हम ज़्यादा देर देखते हैं कि ड्राफ्ट में ख़ास तौर पे, या जो आप लोग 11 भी खिलाते हैं उसमें बाहर से बैटर्स जो आते हैं और बॉलर स्पेसिफिक ऑलराउंडर्स आप लोग पाकिस्तान के होते हैं, तो इस कॉम्बिनेशन में आप लोग जब नेट्स में अग्रेसिव बैटर्स को बॉलिंग करते हैं कितना फ़ायदा होता है?
बहुत ज़्यादा फ़ायदा होता है, क्योंकि जब आप ऐसे एग्रेसिव बैट्समैनों को नेट्स में बॉलिंग करते हैं तो आपको पता चलता है कि आप कहाँ पे वीक हैं, और आपने कैसे डिफेंड करना है, और आपने किस तरीके से फील्ड प्लान लेनी है, और किस तरीके से जो है वो जो एक अग्रेसिव बैट्समैन है उसको किस तरह आपने ट्रैप करना है। तो ये चीज़ें हमें बड़ी सूट करती हैं। जिस तरह आपने बात की कि पाकिस्तान के फास्ट बॉलर हैं, ऑब्वियसली पाकिस्तान में आप घर घर से फास्ट बॉलर निकाल सकते हैं, और हर कोई फास्ट बॉलर 150 पे बॉल कर सकता है, तो ये हमारे लिए ये ना बहुत अच्छी लर्निंग चीज़ होती है नेट्स में। और ऑन द अदर साइड जितने भी बैटर्स बाहर से आते हैं, दे आल्सो वेरी हैप्पी कि वो पाकिस्तान के फास्ट बॉलर्स को नेट में खेलते हैं, और उनको भी पता चलता है कि हमने किस तरह इनको जो है वो टैकल करना है, किस तरह इनको रन जो है रन्स करने हैं, तो उसका नमूना जो है वो अपनी ऑन द फील्ड दिखा देते हैं।
आपके पर्सनल इस वक्त करियर की अगर हम बात करें, वाइट बॉल क्रिकेट में आप काफ़ी अरसे से नज़र नहीं आए पाकिस्तान के लिए, कौन से एरियाज़ ऐसे आपने आइडेंटिफाई किए अपनी बॉलिंग में या ऑलराउंड एबिलिटी में जिस पे आप इस वक्त काम कर रहे हैं?
बिल्कुल, देखिए पिछले कोई 8 मंथ से, आई थिंक 8-10 मंथ से मेरी वाइट बॉल में उस तरह की परफॉर्मेंस नहीं है, और बिल्कुल मैं अपने उस चीज़ पे काम कर रहा हूँ। आई एम स्टिल यंग, 28 ईयर ओल्ड, और अभी मेरा कैरियर बहुत लंबा है, और इट्स अप्स एंड डाउन इन कैरियर, और लाइफ में ऐसे अप्स एंड डाउन होते हैं, बट मैं इस चीज़ों से घबराता नहीं हूँ। देखिए एरियाज़ मेरे ख्याल से जिस प्लेयर्स की या जिस क्रिकेटर की बेसिक्स अच्छी होती हैं वो जो है वो लंबी फाइट करता है, तो मैं भी पीछे 6 मंथ से यही काम कर रहा हूँ कि अपनी बेसिक जो है वो ठीक करूँ। 1-2 चीज़ें हैं, जैसे मेरी फ्रंट लेग्स जो है वो ज़्यादा क्लैप्स होना शुरू हो गई है, तो उस पर भी काम कर रहा हूँ, और फिर अपनी रिस्ट पे काम कर रहा हूँ, क्योंकि नया बॉल जो है वो सम टाइम अच्छा होता है, सम टाइम अच्छा नहीं होता, तो उस पर भी काम कर रहा हूँ। 2-3 चीज़ें ऐसी हैं जिस पे काम कर रहा हूँ, और इंशाल्लाह फॉर मी दिस PSL इज़ वंस अगेन अपॉर्चुनिटी, और जैसे ही जब भी मुझे मेरी अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलेगी, आई विल ग्रैब विद द बोथ हैंड।
Hassan, we look forward to watching you for the rest of the season. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's definitely one guy who we want to see succeed, Arooj. I mean, you spoke to him. What do you think Hassan Ali needs to do to make that comeback in the Pakistan side, and even in Islamabad United in terms of performance?
See, when he first broke onto the scene, he was an impact player. He impacted the game when he came on with the ball. He picked up wickets, and I just feel he's fallen off with his pace a little bit, and the fact that he doesn't pick up wickets because he's not an out-and-out quick bowler. He doesn't bowl with the new ball anymore, because if you look at the Pakistan setup, you got Shaheen, Naseem, even Haris Rauf now bowls with the new ball. So he bowls in that middle period of the game where normally it's between say 7 to 12 over period, where it's also difficult to pick up wickets. So I think he needs to identify where he can impact the game a little bit, work on his pace. He did mention the point that he's 28, which is still fairly young. But because he broke onto the scene with such spark, there's too much expectation that rode on his shoulders, and I just feel he fizzled out a little bit. Still a very good red ball player, mind you, and he's still got plenty of years to come. So he did mention he's working on his wrist, and apart from that, a few things that he probably will try and up in terms of getting back onto the white ball side.
Yeah, I think everybody wants Hassan Ali to do well. He was such an integral part of the Pakistan team squad and just such a team person. Everybody knows that about him. It'll be great to see him in action. We'll take another break, but we'll leave you with some culinary delights from Karachi. Well, we're only moments away from the toss. Islamabad United take on Karachi Kings, and I can tell you that the buzz around the ground is already pretty epic. Let's find out from the fans what they have to say about today's game.
पहले भी बहुत अच्छा लगा, बैटिंग हमारी बहुत अच्छी लगी, लेकिन पहले मोहम्मद आमिर ने कुछ इतना नहीं किया। इंशाल्लाह आज जीतेंगे, और मोहम्मद आमिर की पहले फर्स्ट टर्न, आज सेकंड मैच इंशाल्लाह वो विकेट्स लेगा, और इंशाल्लाह आज हम जीतेंगे।
जैसा कि आज आप देख सकते हैं कि कराची किंग का मैच जो है वो अपने होम ग्राउंड में है, तो हमें पूरी उम्मीद है कि वो आज इस्लामाबाद को बिल्कुल भी हिलने नहीं देंगे, उनको अच्छे तरीके से बीट देंगे और बहुत ज़बरदस्त किस्म की शिकस्त का सामना करना पड़ेगा इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड को।
PSL सीज़न 8 का ये पहला मैच है इस्लामाबाद का, और वो भी कराची में, ऑल्दो कराची पहला मैच हार चुकी है यहाँ पे, तो एक्सपेक्टेशन तो वेरी हाई फ्रॉम शादाब खान, हसन अली एंड आज़म खान, और जो हमारे फॉरेन प्लेयर्स हैं जो ओपन करते हैं वो दे आर इन गुड फॉर्म। कराची किंग्स के पास होम ग्राउंड का एडवांटेज है, तो एब्सोल्युटली ऑडियंस उनकी ज़्यादा होगी, सपोर्ट ज़्यादा होगा, शोर ज़्यादा कराची के लिए होगा। बट ये है कि इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड के भी लोग आएंगे, तो थोड़ी बहुत हमने भी प्रिपरेशन की है, तो हम भी अपनी टीम को सपोर्ट करेंगे।
थोड़ा आमिर को तो स्टार्टिंग लेनी चाहिए, और हमारी जो ओपनिंग है उसमें शर्जील को स्टार्टिंग देखभाल से लेनी चाहिए। जैसे पिछले मैच में उनके साथ बैड लक हुआ, नहीं खेल पाए, नहीं चल पाए, लेकिन इस दफ़ा इंशाल्लाह वो अच्छी परफॉर्मिंग करेंगे, अच्छी स्टार्टिंग करेंगे।
बाबर आजम नहीं है तो कोई बात नहीं, और भी बहुत अच्छे प्लेयर्स हैं इसमें, इमाद हैं, शोएब हैं।
कराची किंग जिंदाबाद, गो कराची गो।
Islamabad good to go.
Yeah, it's always great to see the PSL fever is well and truly on. We've seen some brilliant games so far, and we saw that Pfeiffer from Ihsanullah yesterday in that game in Multan Sultans. It's always good to see that kind of young talent come through. The crowd is building up nicely though. I mean, that's been one of the highlights of the PSL. Multan was absolutely brilliant. Karachi was pretty good as well. And I can tell you that all the games are going to be like this. It's going to be a packed house. And that's the one thing that we always look forward to. The home side needs a win badly though, because that's one thing that we've seen last year. They won 1 out of 10 games. That last game was pretty close, but they needed that partnership to finish things off. I mean, Arooj, win the toss and bowl first, win the toss or bat first?
Win the toss and bowl first.
Bowl first. Danny, what would you say? I mean, that seems to be the preferred option in leagues around the world now. They just like to have that target in front of them.
Yeah, I think most do, don't they? They love to know what they have to chase and do that. Having said that, if you've got a really good pitch, 200, you get that first, it's a winning score.
All right, let's find out what happens at the toss. We are ready now, so it's over to Basil Khan, who's out there with the two captains.
Matchbox 4, and we're ready for the toss here. We've got Ali Naqvi, the suave match referee, Imad Wasim, and the newly married man, Shadab Khan. Imad, you've got the coin?
Heads. Heads is the call.
Heads is the call.
That's heads.
And it is the heads. Is it? Yes.
Yeah.
Shadab, what are you going to do and why?
Bismillah Rahman Rahim. We want to bowl first. We don't know how pitch will behave, so we wanted to back ourselves because we have a depth on our batting, so we wanted to concentrate on our batting side.
Is it an advantage playing last? Every team has played a game. You've seen it all. Now you're playing. So is that an advantage or a disadvantage?
Depend on the result. So hopefully it's an advantage because we see the games. The last game they play against the Peshawar, so we know that how pitch behaving. But this is a different pitch, so let's see how pitch behaves like.
Just about your team. Just tell us who your overseas players are.
Overseas is Colin Munro, Raisi Wanderson, Sterling, and TC Tom Curran.
Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Imad, the game's coming quick and fast. Islamabad United play a very high intense game. Will you have to match that intensity?
Oh, obviously, I think they've got a very good batting and bowling lineup, but today we have a different batting lineup as well. And the thing is, runs on the board is every time is crucial. You put runs on the board and you try to defend it, which is, I think, how I want to play.
First game, very close game. Do you have a team talk? What do you discuss in that?
Nothing really, just play the game. It happens. I believe not every time you lose 4 wickets in 6 overs, but it is cricket. It might happen again, but I think we have the firepower to do everything right.
And with your team, any changes?
Yes, there are 3 changes. James Vince is back, Fuller is back, and Irfan Niazi, the emerging guys, playing today.
Thank you very much and
Thank
good
you.
luck. So news here that Islamabad United have won the toss and have elected to bowl first. And with the 22 yards, there's a lot of discussion with that, and I've got just the man. Vernon, what do you reckon this pitch will play like tonight?
Evening, Baz. Yeah, it looks an absolute belter once again. It's a good grass covering, and I think we've seen the other night with grass, especially in this part of the world, there's pace on. And of course, in this format of the game, batters love pace on the ball. So I do feel that it's going to be a really good wicket. We're going to have another high-scoring event, I feel.
So the ball will skid on. It's very good for the batters. What does the bowler do in terms of restricting the batter?
Yeah, I think for me it's key that, especially with that new ball, you want to bring those stumps into play. I think if you're going to afford any width, we've seen the other night, you know, the ball do disappear to these boundaries. It's a quick outfield, it's small boundaries, so you want to bring those stumps into play. Like I said, you perhaps want to play with those angles as well. For me, you want to perhaps sit on that fourth stump, fifth stump line and really ask batters to hit you off that line, maybe across the line, and bring those two modes of dismissals into play. For me, LBW, bold, when you play in the subcontinent, is of pivotal importance.
So bowl straight as possible. What do you like to chase on this though?
Wow, I tell you what, you're going to fancy just about anything that's been set in that first innings. But I think if you can restrict the team batting first to about 170, 180, you'd have done a good job.
Lovely. So it's a good pitch and we're in for some fun.
Well, as expected, there are changes from the Karachi Kings squad, which we were expecting. And Islamabad United has won the toss and they have decided to bowl first. Arooj, were you expecting these changes? I mean, I think considering the way Karachi Kings performed, there was that talk around their squad and, you know, what kind of options do they have to bring in?
I think the obvious one, or the no-brainer one, as Danny mentioned, was James Wince. They had to get him back in, and unfortunately Ben Cutting misses out. The other couple of changes, I think they're just trying to get a good formula correct. They probably want to get on winning ways, and it's fair enough. You got to try combinations, because every time your overseas players can be different, as is in the case with Karachi Kings. And I just feel it's a matter of getting their combination right at the start of the tournament, because come the back end or business end, you want to be in with the right combination that plays consistently throughout.
All right, it's time to take a breather. Thank you so much, Danny. We're going to let you go. I know you're heartbroken leaving the two of us here. You know, the rose between the two thorns, as we like to call it. But yeah, on that note, we'll take a short break. Remember, Islamabad United has won the toss and they have decided to bowl first. Well, the news from the centre is that Islamabad United has won the toss and they have decided to bowl first. Beautiful evening here in Karachi, the city of lights, under lights at this point of time. And we're looking forward to a great encounter between both the sides, Islamabad United versus Karachi Kings. I've been joined by Bazat Khan. Baz, Islamabad United bowling first. You look at that lineup, or मेरा ख्याल है कोई अगर 12वां प्लेयर भी होता तो वो भी बैटिंग कर लेता. The way their lineup is.
नहीं, हम ज़्यादा ड्राफ्ट की बात नहीं करते. जब ड्राफ्ट में जब इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड जाता है तो they look at players who can support the brand of cricket that they want to play, and they've got so many players. Karachi Kings now, having after lost that first game, they have rung the changes, 4 changes for them. And interestingly, you look at that squad: Mohammad Musa, Fuller, Ahmed, Tai. Just the one frontline spinner with Ahmad Wasim. So they've now thought that it's all about getting the paces in, and those are the bowlers that will make sure that the opposition doesn't get away. Imran Tahir dropped. I would have thought that if he dropped Imran Tahir, the Resh Shamsi might have played, but no, they've gone the other direction.
अच्छा, ये पहले भी डिस्कशन हो रही थी कि कराची के पास शायद एक प्रॉपर फास्ट बॉलर नहीं है. जिस तरह हमने देखा है लाहौर के पास शाहीन है, इरफानुल्लाह है, मुल्तान सुल्तान्स के पास. I mean, do you agree as well कि they're lacking a genuine pace bowler?
Yeah, absolutely. They're lacking a genuine pace bowler. Also 5-6 पे अब मैथ्यू वेड आ गया है, लेकिन उनको फिनिशर की भी ज़रूरत है. इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड जैसे हमने बात की, they have all the firepower in the world. Mohammad Wasim Jr. batting at number 10, so that means they bat all the way down.
अरूज, इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड की क्या चीज़ आपको अच्छी लगती है?
क्या चीज़ अच्छी नहीं लगती ये पूछना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज अब आप इनका बैटिंग ऑर्डर देखें, मतलब 7 पे आसिफ अली आ रहे हैं, फ़हीम अशरफ भी बैटिंग कर लेते हैं, वसीम जूनियर भी मार लेते हैं, टॉम करन भी मार लेते हैं. बट देव ऑल्सो गॉन विद द सीमर्स, विद द the front line spinner being Shadab. So it probably weighs in terms of the better team who will probably have the better batting, which on paper and as per recent record looks like Islamabad United.
और आप दोनों कहती हैं कि इस्लामाबाद बड़ा डल शहर है, देख लें।
मैंने तो बिल्कुल नहीं कहा, मैंने तो कहा इस्लामाबाद मेरा फेवरेट है। We love Islam. I love Islamabad. Everyone listening, कि please बाजिद की बातों में मत आना. In fact, it's one of my favorite cities, and I'm sure Arooj will agree.
I completely agree. वो लड़ाई कराची लाहौर की है।
कराची लाहौर
आप हमारी लड़ाई में ना आए बीच में।
Islamabad is the one city that everybody loves.
उनके लोगों का हमें पता नहीं।
बेगानी शादी में अब्दुल्ला दीवाना। ये
इस्लामाबाद की बात कर रही हैं आप, लाहौर कराची।
नहीं। चले, ये लड़ाई तो चलती रहेगी लाहौर कराची इस्लामाबाद की, बट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड। इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड की हम बैटिंग की बात करें तो शुरू कहाँ से होती है और ख़त्म कहाँ पे होती है? इन फिनिशर्स में आजम खान का नाम ज़रूर आता है। टाइम टू हेयर व्हाट ही हैज़ टू से अबाउट हिज गिग विद इस्लामाबाद।
जी, HBL PSL आपको पता है जिस तरह हर प्लेयर की हर साल एक नई एक्साइटमेंट होती है, उस तरह मेरी भी है और मेरी कोशिश इंशाल्लाह यही रहेगी कि जिस तरह लास्ट ईयर मैंने अपनी फ्रेंचाइज़ के लिए परफॉर्म किया है, क्योंकि उन्होंने मुझ पर इतना ट्रस्ट हो गया, तो मेरी कोशिश भी यही बनती है कि मैं उनके लिए फिर परफॉर्म करूँ। और मेरी हर दिन मेरी प्रैक्टिस चल रही होती है। जो मेरे स्ट्रॉन्ग जोन हैं मैं उसकी प्रैक्टिस करता हूँ, और जो मेरे वीक जोन हैं उस पर मैं और ज़्यादा मेहनत करने की कोशिश करता हूँ। तो मेरा हमेशा से यही माइंडसेट रहा है कि मैं जहाँ इंटरनेशनल लीग खेल रहा हूँ तो मैं वहाँ अपनी परफॉर्मेंस करता रहूँ। देखिए, परफॉर्मेंस का ये इट्स ऑल अबाउट द माइंडसेट। मेरी कोशिश यही रहती है कि मेरा माइंडसेट हमेशा पॉजिटिव रहे और नेगेटिव चीज़ों को मैं एक साइड पे रख देता हूँ और मैं ज़्यादा उनको सोचता नहीं हूँ। मैं जब भी क्रीज पे मौजूद रहूँगा, सो आई नो आई कैन चेंज द गेम।
Azam Khan has a go at that, and he said that for six. Also brings up his 50.
All-time favorite cricketer, I will say, सर विविन रिचर्ड्स और मेरे फादर, जो कि मेरे हमेशा से हीरो रहे, तो उनसे ही काफ़ी कुछ चीज़ें सीखने को मिलती हैं ज़िंदगी में। फिज़िकल यही है कि पिछले 5 महीने से मैं क्रिकेट जैसे लगातार खेल रहा हूँ। सो अभी मुझे 1 हफ्ते का ब्रेक मिला, सो नाउ आई फील ग्रेट टू बी कमिंग बैक टू दी HBL PSL, और इंशाल्लाह कोशिश यही रहेगी कि अच्छी परफॉर्मेंसेस जाए। अल्टीमेट क्रिकेटिंग ड्रीम यही है कि इंशाल्लाह जब भी पाकिस्तान के लिए खेलें तो पाकिस्तान को, क्योंकि स्पेशली हम एक T20 फॉर्मेट खेलने जा रहे हैं, तो मैं चाहता हूं कि मैं जब पाकिस्तान टीम से खेल रहा हूं तो मैं पाकिस्तान के लिए एक T20 वर्ल्ड कप ज़रूर लेकर आऊँ।
देखा तुझे तो हुआ मैं दीवाना।
देखिए, मेरी पूरी फैमिली जो है वो म्यूज़िक की काफ़ी शौकीन है और काफ़ी हमारे घर पे कवालियाँ वगैरह भी होती हैं, तो वहाँ से काफ़ी शौक़ हुआ एक म्यूज़िक का, और फिर ख़ुद ही सीखा हर चीज़ खुद यूट्यूब से। कि मैं अगर जब भी कभी गेम भी, कभी मेरा प्रेशर सिचुएशन वाला गेम हो या कोई बहुत ही, आपको पता है, जैसे एक ज़बरदस्त गेम हो, तो उससे पहले मैं अपना म्यूज़िक करता हूँ ताकि मैं थोड़ा काम डाउन हो जाऊँ।
गाना भी अच्छा, गिटार बजा लेते हैं, गाना भी गा लेते हैं और बैटिंग भी अच्छी कर लेते हैं। मतलब आजम खान हैज अ लॉट टू ऑफर ऑफ द फील्ड एज वेल।
I think he enjoys it. You always seen him with a guitar. He likes to have fun. He obviously was referring to his family, and they also like the entertainment, which is nice because you need to have a life outside of cricket, and you need to have a hobby or a go-to activity that just sort of eases the pressure. International cricket, franchise cricket, is not an easy gig at all, and I think he's always under the pump to deliver because he's again strikes the ball and then he takes the game deep.
अच्छा जी, जल्दी से बताएं, what's a good score on this ground? एक वर्ड, 1 word आंसर।
196।
196। तो लास्ट टाइम 200 हो गया था टारगेट, बाज़त ने कहा 196 विल बी अ गुड टारगेट, एंड देखते हैं कि कराची किंग्स कैन अचीव दैट और नॉट। डेफिनेटली आज उन्होंने थोड़ी सी अपनी बॉलिंग को भी जो है स्ट्रेंथन करने की कोशिश की है। इस्लामाबाद यूनाइटेड का टॉप ऑर्डर भी बहुत अच्छा है। ओवरऑल एक बहुत अच्छा कॉन्टेस्ट होगा बिटवीन बोथ द साइड्स, एंड द होम साइड डेफिनेटली नीड्स दैट विन। They are batting first. Islamabad United will be bowling first, but we're going to take a short break, and when we do come back, तब आपको सारी लाइव पिक्चर्स दिखाएंगे, कहीं ना जाए।